We talk about the membership price. Yeah, we can talk about that. I did get the email from Jagex. How are people responding to the membership hike, guys? How are you responding to the membership hike? They raised it by $1. It's the same price as a WoW membership. So for me personally, I don't really care too much about it. They raised the annual by 33%. Reddit is up in arms over the price increase. Does anyone have a link to it? We'll pull it up. OSRS is all I got right now. I'm going to have to keep going with it. Me too, brother. It sucks, but the price for everything is going up. That's the world we live in. Here's the thing. Jagex got rid of all their microtransactions on retail, which might have been what was helping to keep the price down. But I do believe there has to be a compensation from somewhere else if they're going to start removing some of their primary sources of income. Average player count is down 20% today. I mean, that could just be the day. That might not have any correlation to anything. No Monkey had a video on it. He always he's No Monkey puts out a video on everything. We're going to put out a video on it too. We'll put our own video about the price increase. Jagex is one company, but OSRS and RS3 are two different games. Why are OSRS players subsidizing RS3? Let that game die. I don't know if that would help. Here's the thing. Both. Wait, are you trying to say that RuneScape 3 is taking money away from OSRS because OSRS brings more money and RS3 doesn't clear enough money to self-sustain itself? Because, you know, RS3 probably made more money when they had microtransactions. So they might have been carrying OSRS at some point in time. I don't know the full details on it. That's the cope reason, huh? Now it's time for OSRS to carry RS3 because they got rid of the microtransactions. I'm pretty positive Jagex stated this was a way to help cover RS3. Well, I mean, we have to have evidence. So right now, everything that we're talking about right now, it's all hearsay, you know? I think that's what they say in the court of law. So we've got to have some kind of proof, some evidence. Otherwise, it's just us saying random things that don't mean anything. Why we got to pay for another game? Oh, goodness. How come we not wearing the Inferno Cape for Aura? It's in the bank. First off, I don't even know how to get back to the island. Do you have to sail all the way back? Is the OSRS blog posts membership and bonds price change? Here we go. Let's read the actual words on the page. The actual words here, boys. Thank you for being a valued RuneScape member. Over the past 2 years, your support has enabled substantial upgrades like our first ever new skill, Sailing, Valar, Leagues, Yama, as we make significant improvements to the player support and anti-cheat. As we look into the future, the exciting roadmaps and announcement we've shared, ensuring its kind of delivery and updates players value most. Got it. Okay. To support this, we're making some changes to our memberships. As of April 9th, the price of membership will change for 12-month and 1-month memberships. New memberships will be available at the new prices as of today. Your price will not be changing if you are actively on a grandfathered rate monthly subscription. Wait, if you're grandfathered in, your price is not even going up? Your price will not be changing if you are actively on a grandfathered monthly rate. Dude, is anyone in the chat still paying that $5 a month? The price of bonds will also be adjusted in line with the 1-month membership. 12 months. So bond prices will be going up. 12-month membership, formerly known as Premier, continues to offer the best annual value, providing 12 months for a 9-month price. Pricing details. Click here to expand. US is going to be $15 a month. This is the same price as World of Warcraft. And a 12-month membership will be $11 a month. And the bond prices are $10 now. Okay? And that affects how much gold is worth and everything, right? Because all the gold is related to the price of a bond. 6-month membership package will be removed from sale as of today. We will simplify our member offerings. All existing 6-month subscribers will be unaffected and retain 6-month rolling until changed. Grandfather terms. As always, if you're actively subscribed to a monthly grandfather rate, your pricing will not be changed. So I'm locked into a lower rate on my alt. On the month-to-month rate on my alt. Eligible grandfather rate players will receive a recurring monthly to retain their rate. We'll continue to offer a 14-day grace period to protect your grandfather rate. That's great of them. That's nice of Jagex to do this, man. They're not forcing everybody. So you're only getting screwed if you're a 12-month subscriber? Essentially. Or if you're a new player? That's not bad. I'm okay with it personally, as long as they're not adding microtransactions or things like that to the game to try and, you know, as long as there's no pay to win in the game, I'll pay more money per month. I think that that's the natural evolution of MMOs these days. It's got to be one or the other. It's got to either be a higher monthly cost, or they have to make up that financial loss in some way from not having pay to win. So that those are the two business models you get. You either get free to play with heavy pay to win, like the Korean MMOs, or you get none of that with a high monthly subscription. And what is good about that is now bots have to pay more money too, right? Maybe there'll be less botting. The higher the price of membership goes. There could be correlation with that too. The Venezuelans are in shambles. Oh, goodness. Why are prices changing? We want to deliver a model that better supports the ongoing investment we are making across both games. Supports cost, infrastructure, upgraded systems, new content, and improvements to player support. Keeps RuneScape and old school RuneScape sustainable for the next 25 years, not just the last 25. Most major MMOs rely on expansions, battle passes, or increasingly aggressive monetization to account for increased investment. This is exactly what I was just talking about, and cost of operation. We believe in simple subscription-led approach that delivers incredible value while supporting continued improvement for our games and services. This is exactly what I just said. And yeah, that's it. You get one or the other. You get cheesy microtransaction game, or you get high subscription service. Sign me up for the subscription any day, boys. Chat, at what price would you stop paying for a RuneScape membership? Like, how much per month would the membership have to be? $15. You're good at 14, but not 15. Any higher, I'm done. $20, sadly. $9. So Primitive already quit. $20. 30 for monthly $20. I sold my cat to afford a membership. What happens to my grandfathered rate? You're good. Nothing happens. The new prices are taking effect today, but for the year ones, it's going to be April 9th. If you have a payment failure for your grandfather rate, they said they have a 14-day grace period. The new price of bonds is in. 20 bonds, $192. 20 bonds is a year membership. Second price increase in less than 2 years. Yeah, and they just cut off a major source of their income with RS3 Treasure Hunter being gone. So they're definitely, I would expect them to make up for that. All right, let's see. Is No Monkey saying something else about this?
GM. YouTube, dude, I'm trying to enjoy my anniversary here, and Jagex just keeps putting out vlogs that I have to cover. They have done another membership increase. If you've seen Reddit recently, it's been like on fire. I really wanted to talk about it because in the article, they cover a lot of the reasons why they're increasing the prices and the value that they offer. So I wanted to go over that and see what they're talking about. We have this line. It says, over the last 2 years, your support has enabled substantial updates, like our first ever new skill, sailing, Varlamore, leagues, and Yama, as well as significant improvements to player support and anti-cheat. Okay, this is a big cope of like what we are offering to endorse us increasing the value. We've increased the price of membership. This is why. Okay, Sailing came out. Honestly, Sailing is one of the better releases for like a major update, but even Sailing had some major issues. A lot of the balancing of stuff in Sailing, and then a lot of the like just general mechanical features of Sailing, like the combat feels really weak. A lot of stuff in Sailing needed a lot of work. To say it was like a really solid release and worthy of you paying more, I don't know if I agree with that. We had Varlamore, which was a big expansion with a bunch of new additions. Overall, like a very solid set of updates. I have gripes with some of the content, like Huey, Mocha, Coliseum. They're not perfect, but generally like good additions to the game. As well as all the skilling stuff is really, really solid. People really like Veil Totems. Mixology is pretty solid as well. Not perfect either. Wouldn't say like everything in Varlamore is like the perfect update, chef's kiss, but generally like a solid set of updates, to be fair. I mentioned leagues. Listen, I like leagues a lot. I have a lot of fun with it. But if we're coping that, you know, temporary game updates that don't affect the long-term health of the game or the actual content within the game, and we cope that that is a reason we have to increase membership, they should have just not done it. A temporary game mode should not be incurring a huge cost and burden on the player base, at least in my opinion. I mentioned Yama. Yama's release was okay. After Yama came out and they came out with contracts, 2 of the 5 were completely impossible to complete. So the entire race for World's First for the contracts was just out the window because there was no one able to complete them. They were impossible. You can check out the old video on that if you're curious what happened with that. But they're genuinely 2 out of 5 of them were impossible. So to flag this as an amazing update, I don't know. I'm not following on that either. Not to mention a lot of people were kind of bummed that it's not our true duo boss. It's more like a solo boss you guys do together. There's no like teamwork mechanics, that kind of thing, besides one person being a tank and one person not being. And even then, it's real minuscule, the amount like the tank has to do compared to what you do normally. They don't mention it, but I want to talk about it. After Yama came Doom, semi-soon after Yama. Doom was a complete mess on launch as well. There was literally a bug where you couldn't continue to the next cave when the boss came out, right? And also, there's still a bug that if you log out, it stalls your character in place for like 10 seconds. So if you're on a hardcore and you 6-hour at this boss, you're probably just going to die as well. A bug that they carried over from Leviathan, which is also still...
Okay, so from what I'm seeing here, he's really talking about how they did provide some great updates, but they had problems with it. And so I love when people pose problems or issues, and then I like to hear the solution. I like to hear what does No Monkey propose that they do to make it worth the price increase, right? My audio is lower than the video. Can you guys hear me okay? Hold on a second. Video is a little bit loud. Hold on a second. Let me try to fix this. Check. Is this going up? Can you guys hear me better now? Okay. So what I'd like to hear, so he's saying that if we're going to pay more money for updates, are we going to get better polished content in the future for the price increase? That's where I'm guessing he's going with this. Are the updates going to be bigger? Are we getting better leagues? Let's see where he goes with this, because I'm guessing that that's where he's going.
Still in the game. So all of this buggy content is what we're going, woo, we're providing value to you. I don't agree with that. When Doom came out, there were so many problems with the boss that it made it super hard to enjoy, because I just didn't know what they were going to change with the boss in the future. What was going to be a bug and what was going to become a feature. When it first came out, like the holy water trigger would only work on the very first hit splat you gave to the boss. So if you did like a Chalice spec and the second hit splat killed it, just would not trigger holy water. I didn't know if that was intended or not. The leeches going in, like it would spawn melee grubs as you tried to do Like the orb phase, like incredibly unfair. Is that intended? Are you supposed to just tank a bunch of leeches? Is this part of the scaling? If you look at my channel, I have a YouTube short where I literally one-shot the boss by just hanging out on the shield phase for a long time. That was a thing. For a long time, the projectiles on the boulder would line up depending on where you meleeed the boss from, or if you meleeed him too quickly on the melee punish. So sometimes you just get hit by guaranteed damage. They also had a bug for a while where after the cave ended, when it's supposed to stop hitting you, it would just keep hitting you after an update. So if you played on a hardcore at any point during this update, you were just like gambling with your life. There was no guarantee that you would come out of any update alive because updates were just changing things completely randomly. And you don't know what's a bug and what's not a bug with Jagex updates. Like, you just genuinely don't know. I don't feel that it's fair to release updates in this kind of state, like, consistently, with very, very little QA, or not the necessary, like, amount of QA to make sure the update is fairly high quality with fairly few bugs. At least obvious ones that, like, take some very minor testing to phase out of the game. Like, there's no reason that Yama contracts should be completely impossible when they come out, that kind of thing. Like, that's just not acceptable. They then mentioned that they've made significant...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with this 100%. And the reason is, first off, I can see his frustration as a person who really, really loves the game. He's coming from a point of somebody who really, really loves the game, wants to be great. And when you put out a new update, there's gonna be bugs. Like, that's just a natural evolution of putting new things into the game, with especially with the code like Jagex has. I mean, they struggle with a lot with their code. They express that all the time. So there's never going to be updates probably that come out perfect. I think to expect that would be a little bit much. So what is he expecting? Is he just saying, like, stop putting out stuff with bugs? Because I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if what he's saying is possible, if that's what he's saying. So I guess we'll keep listening to see what he's suggesting. But right now he's just continuously pointing out things that came out and were wrong. And by the way, Jagex fixed all of this stuff. Well, a lot of it. And they did announce that they are trying to improve sailing. Maybe he's unhappy with the speed that they're improving sailing, but the base borderline game of sailing is out, and any bugs that happened, you know, they've fixed them in a relatively timely manner for the size of team that Jagex has. And that might be another suggestion he might make here in a bit. Like, do they need to hire more people with this extra dollar that we're giving them? But I would say that a large portion of the player base is not going to be paying this extra dollar, because I'm grandfathered in. A lot of you guys are grandfathered in too, so they're not making the extra dollar from everybody. So I am wondering what is his solution to this problem, or what is he expecting from this dollar that they are not saying that they're going to do?
Significant improvements to player support. I'm just calling BS on this. I know that they've added like AI, so like you can, which I guess is arguably better than the old player support where you just wouldn't get a response. You'll now get an AI response. Hey, maybe that's arguably better. The player support does not feel any better. If I die on my hardcore to a bug that Jagex has added, it's not coming back. I'm not getting that hardcore back. I'm definitely not getting it back if I DC to a Jagex server going down. That's not happening. When people lose...
That doesn't happen in any game, by the way. That's a problem with hardcore, and that's like a totally separate thing. That's just a thing that you have to deal with if you're playing hardcore. It's partially why I don't like hardcore, but RuneScape is much better than WoW. You guys, at least, I mean, in RuneScape has an escape crystal, which is just incredible. Like that in itself is an item that WoW does not have. So at least there's something.
Items to bugs, sometimes they'll get it back. A lot of times that just is gone. Like that's just lost to the ether. Like, you're not getting that back. Other games like WoW will literally give you your items back if you get hacked. Like, that's just like inconceivable for RuneScape. Like, that's a thing that will just never happen. So to pretend that player support is any better, I just don't see it. It's the exact same as it's always been. You're not ever going to get them to help you out in any shape or form, unless it's something.
I cannot confirm nor deny if you get anything back if you get hacked at WoW. I've heard that WoW customer service sucks. I haven't dealt with them in over 10 years because it's just not worth it. Like, you couldn't talk to anybody at WoW, and I could message somebody at Jagex right now and get help instantly from a dev. That would never happen in WoW. So I think that might be a little bit of cope as well.
Something very simple like transferring membership to another account. And even if it's something simple like that, it's probably going to take you a couple weeks. Like, that's just the reality. The last thing they mentioned is anti-cheat. We have seen a massive rise in botting like this last year. We've seen some of the worst botting we've seen for many, many years in the past.
This is true.
Like, it's been absolutely atrocious.
This is true with like every game though. I think that accessibility to botting is just getting more accessible, and it's getting cheaper, and it's getting worse in every game. And the only thing that's not getting better is anti-botting. We're not getting better at stopping them, and the bots are getting better, and they're getting cheaper. And that's the natural evolution of it. So it's like, when are we going to take a stand on it at some point and really try and shut this thing down? I'll pay $20 a month if they can get rid of the bots. If they need to hire more people, I would pay more money if they announce that.
Has that situation been improving? Yes, definitely. I've seen a lot of prices of botted items going back up. They are definitely doing ban waves, but it's not an improvement over prior years. It's not like, oh, there's no bots in the game anymore. This is great. It's like they've brought it arguably back down to the levels of prior years. And I would say maybe not even that much. Like, it still is worse than it has been, but it's at least not as bad as it has been this whole year, with like Burning Claw price being like under 5 mil, you know, like Synapses being worth nothing, Treads being under 200 mil, like all of these like heavily botted items. Sunfire Splinters are incredibly low to the point that Coliseum isn't really worth doing anymore. So many items are botted to the point that content is basically just not worth doing on a main, which is just absurd. They say, as we look to the future, the exciting roadmaps and announcements we've recently shared are the biggest and most ambitious we've ever done, and all part of a wider shift to make RuneScape games even better. From enhancing our core systems to improving our supporting services and ensuring continued delivery of the kind of updates players value most. To support this, we're making some changes to our membership. So if there's any question of like, hey, we're plugging these things to support us increasing membership costs, that is why they are doing it, because they feel that they have offered additional value to the consumer. Okay, so how does this affect you? What is the changes? Membership went up $1, okay, which is the typical when they raise membership. It's not crazy. Like, you might be like, okay, why are people freaking out over this? But the main egregious thing is the Premier membership. So if you were doing the yearly membership, basically what they've done is they've completely removed the options for 3 and 6 month membership. That's just gone. You can't buy that anymore. There is monthly, there is bonds, and then there's yearly membership. Like, those are the options. That's what you can buy. And they say this in this really kind of scummy way, where they say 12-month membership continues to offer our best annual value, providing 12 months for the price of 9 on average. You're like, oh, okay, so it's still the best value. And it is the best value because it's the only thing left. And before, the value of Premier membership...
It's the only option to have a better value, actually. It's the only option. So yeah, it's the best, and it's also the worst if you're buying anything more than 1 month.
was about the cost of 7.5 months of membership.
Oh,
so
goodness.
they phrase this in a really, really fake way, where they say 12 months for the price of 9 on average, but that value has gotten worse. Like, you are paying more for less, or you're paying more for the same amount, right? It's not the same value as they tried to. It's not like membership went up. Okay, so yearly membership goes up a little bit to match that. No, it's gone up significantly. Like, you are paying much, much more for that if that's how you were buying membership. When I go down to the FAQ, we see these sections where it says, why are prices changing? It says, we want to deliver a model that better supports the ongoing investment that we're making across both games. Supports the cost of infrastructure, upgraded systems, new content, and improvements to player support. Keeps RuneScape and old school RuneScape sustainable for the next 25 years, not just the last 25. So this is the...
Bro, guys, how many of you would be stoked to pay this extra dollar if they said, with this extra dollar, we're going to be adding infrastructure we're going to be hiring more people to try and get rid of bots, and we're also going to allow you to play your main account at the same time as playing leagues? I'd be like, dude, take my dollar, bro. Take it. You can increase my grandfather plan too. I would be happy about that. That's what they need to come out and say, man. That would be so sick.
The jargon that we're talking about when talking about RuneScape 3, like a lot. Basically, they're trying to completely remodel RuneScape 3 the way they do microtransactions, that kind of. Basically, they're saying, hey, to do that, we need more money. I'm going to show you a clip from the CEO in an interview of when they talked about this kind of thing.
How confident are you can maintain the revenue that you need whilst also making the changes to support players. It's still like a very difficult objective you've set yourself.
It is hard. It is. We probably won't maintain the revenue that we currently are when we make these changes. That's the truth. But equally, if we're taking a 10, a 15, a 25-year view, you know, some short-term pain is probably worth the restoration of the game if we can get to that point. And that's the experiment that we're running, and that's the bet that we're hoping to take.
So a little bit of pain in the short term is going to be worth it in the long term. That's what the CEO is saying. And they say the exact same thing that you see in the blog, 10, 15, 25 years, that exact same kind of thing. They're willing to sell the stuff that they're doing with RuneScape 3 as this really noble endeavor to try to save the game. Like, we're going to remodel everything. We're going to take a big hit in the short term, but in the long term, you know, you're going to see some big changes and it's going to be worth it for our company as a whole. And meanwhile, it wasn't really the intention at all. They were just going to, you know, shift the price over to old school players, make them pay, and then figure it out, which is kind of a bummer. Keep in mind also that they haven't actually removed microtransactions from RuneScape 3. What they have done is made it less predatory, which is good. This is a good thing. But you could make the argument that the main reason that they've done that is to get ahead of the UK laws, where you can't really have gambling related stuff in games anymore. But you can still see, like, you can just straight up, these are stars you can purchase in RuneScape 3. These just give you bonus XP in a skill, which means when you train that skill, you get it 2 times the speed until you use up the bonus XP. So it still requires you train the skill, but you...
Dang, they have rested XP that you could buy in RuneScape 3? No. I thought they got rid of this. Did they bait and switch us? Chat, I thought they got rid of all forms of pay to win. What is this?
You can just straight up buy double speed in your skills if you want to. Things are much, much better in RuneScape 3. I'm not going to pretend they're not. They don't do a lot of the horrible things they were doing before. It's definitely much better. But a lot of people think like they've completely removed microtransactions from RuneScape 3. That is not true. They've changed the model for the better, but it still exists. The model is still there.
They got rid of the Wheel of Fortune, which was more so gambling, which was required by law in the UK for them to... You would pay to spin a wheel and the wheel had a chance of giving you something. I thought they got rid of this. I thought they got rid of accelerated XP rates where you could purchase bonuses, but they didn't get rid of this. They still have it. This is pay to win. Unbelievable. Okay, so it is a little bit of a shift of now it kind of, if they still have this stuff where you can pay to get bonuses in the game, it is a little bit of a shift of like, okay, maybe now OSRS is kind of paying a little bit for RuneScape 3. It does kind of feel that way. I thought they would be getting rid of all the microtransactions, upping the rate by $1, and it would be like a good advancement for the company, but they only got rid of the gambling portion.
There. It's not like they've just completely axed all microtransactions out of the game. They say most major MMOs rely on expansions. Battle Pass, it's crazy that they even are willing to mention Battle Passes when we had that whole debacle with RuneScape 3 last year with like the horrible Battle Pass. The final reward on that Battle Pass, by the way, was a damage reduction within the hardest content in the game, the boss Zamorak. You just took 15% less damage when you had completed the Battle Pass for that. Imagine if you got reduced damage inside Inferno for completing like the old school Battle Pass. Amazing that they're willing to claim this, or increasingly aggressive monetization to account for increased investment and cost of operation. We believe in a simple subscription-led approach that delivers incredible value while supporting continued improvement for our games and services. So they burned a lot of goodwill with a bunch of really big problems over the years, like with RuneScape 3. They burned that goodwill, and instead of just taking the hit to get it back, they just increased membership to get rid of the stuff that people were burned over. Like, that's what they do, which is kind of messed up. It is not fair to make old school RuneScape players cover RuneScape 3's mistakes. We're not paying to play RuneScape 3, we're paying to play old school RuneScape. Old school RuneScape players are old school RuneScape players. We're paying a subscription for both. You can actually go log in. If you're paying a subscription for old school RuneScape, you can go log into RuneScape 3.
You get both with your subscription, but that's not a selling point for like 90% of the player base who only plays OSRS. So it's like, yeah, you get something that you're not using. So what would the price be if they took that away? Can you give us a discount if we don't ever want to log into RS3? Well, that's kind of funny.
But you can't do both at the same time. You're paying for both, and you have access to both, but it's still one or the other. You don't have the option of both. If we're covering RuneScape 3, how can you not let us at least log into both games at the same time if we're still covering both? It doesn't really make any sense. I'm jumping down to this section because they mention a line. They say this is about the yearly membership change and like the justification for it. They mention that they continue to offer one of the...
You can't even log into both games at the same time because it's the same account. Okay.
largest discounts versus 12 monthly payments in the MMO category. So as soon as they say this, it opens them up to a bunch of comparison to other MMOs. And that's what like everybody's doing on Reddit. Like, okay.
To be fair, it's the same thing WoW does. Like one subscription gets you access to every version of the game, but you can't play them all at the same time on the same account. You do have to have an alternate account to do that.
You're gonna make us pay this much, but we only get one character or XYZ, whatever like WoW offers or Final Fantasy 14 offers. It's really dumb to open up the comparison. I don't feel like Jagex really wants people comparing them to other MMOs.
You get an infinite amount of characters,
though. It is a very
though.
different game, and it's not really good.
That is the one thing though for the $15 a month that WoW has over RuneScape is I can make 100 characters. I can have 100 level 3s running around if I want to. In WoW, you can make one character per account in RuneScape.
To compare value with like WoW when they do offer so many character slots, like classic version of the game offered at the same time as retail, like it's not really ideal for them. A lot of people on Reddit are comparing to WoW. Like WoW offers so many character slots for their membership. Why doesn't old school do the same? There's actually really good reason that they don't offer multiple character slots.
Talking about here.
First of all, RuneScape's a totally different game than WoW. WoW gatekeeps their content on time limits. So there's only so many raids you can do per X period of time.
One
so
raid
you're
per
heavily encouraged to jump on a different character
and
to
play
do
alts.
that content again, right? So it's not...
It's 1/100th of the content of RuneScape, and you get to the raids, and the only thing there is to do is the raids at the end of the game. So you would basically level your account to like level 100, which would be the max level, and then you would do the raids one time per week, and it would only take you about 5 to 6 days played to hit max level. And then you would do the raids, and then you would do it again. That would be the game loop for OSRS if it was WoW. But you could do it as many times as you wanted. Almost like a league.
quite the same system. Where with RuneScape, you kind of do everything on one account. Yes, you can alt stuff, but it's different. If I want to do chambers all day, I have complete freedom in doing that. Where with WoW, you really don't. Like, you would have to jump on a different character to do that if you wanted to. The other thing is Jagex would lose an insane amount of money if they did this. A lot of people have like a main and an Iron Man. This is a super common position to have both a main and an Iron Man.
I have that,
all of those
actually.
people are now not paying. And then also a lot of people have alts. A lot of people go pet hunt with alts, that kind of thing. Now those people don't pay either. So if you offer a bunch of character slots, not only are they losing a ton of revenue, but also any bots that pay for membership now get all of those character slots to make more bots. So Jagex loses a ton of money, and then botting becomes an insane problem, more so than it already has been this year. It's been like completely out of control. Imagine that multiplied many-fold over. It's not exactly the best situation. Now, is that to say it's impossible for Jagex to do this and we should just write that up? No, I don't agree with that. You can easily bypass the botting problem by offering this as a perk with the yearly membership. Make it so you get your main slot and an alt slot if you pay for a year of membership. Makes perfect sense because it's going to be the most dedicated players that are willing to buy super long-term membership, first of all. Second of all, bots are not buying long-term membership. A lot of them are buying bonds for very short-term, like 14-day membership, because they're going to get banned, right? It's not worth buying that much membership because the bots are just going to get banned. They're going to lose a ton of value. That's not worth it. So even if you're off...
Guys, hypothetical situation. If everyone had to buy a longer membership than a year to play, would that stop botting? I know it would never happen, but just as a hypothetical question. Just let's say the only option was a year membership. Would that would lose a lot of the player base, like most of it probably. But it would probably get rid of bots, right? Because bots wouldn't want to pay $200 for a year membership when they're probably going to get caught and banned in a few months. Okay, that's interesting to think about.
Offer 2 slots with Premier, bots are not going to start buying that. Like that's still not going to be worth it to them. So you completely bypass that problem. And you show a little bit of goodwill to the players that are the most dedicated, willing to buy the most membership at once. Makes a lot of sense. Personally, I think that's what they should be doing, is adding slots on the Premier membership, especially considering what a terrible value it is compared to before, and considering it's the only long-term membership value option versus 6-month and 3-month, which has now been removed. Probably a good idea to add some more value to it. A lot of people on Reddit are showing the like pictures of them unsubscribing and being like, I'm gonna stop playing the game, yada yada yada. I don't think this is as egregious as the player survey thing that happened last year. This is not to the same level, but I am very concerned about the quality of updates moving forward. Basically, if you justify a bunch of membership increases and this is the reasoning that we're using, like RuneScape 3 is getting changed and
Okay, this is the best point Gnome has made, I think, in this video, is that when they announce the change, they announce it's for the things that they're already doing, like adding new things to the game. I think it would have been nice if they came out and said, we're going to raise it for $1 and then we're going to do something more than what we're already doing. Because it's kind of like, it's just like, hey, we need this extra $1 to keep doing what we're already doing. Nothing's going to be better. Nothing's going to improve. It's just $1 for the same thing. That's kind of what they're saying. But like, also we got rid of microtransactions, but not really. But that was because British law made us do it, which now I'm understanding it a bit better. So it would have been nice if they said, yo, for your extra $1, this we're going to do what we've been doing, and we're going to do something else. And then I think people would be like, okay, we're going to have less bugs going forward. We're going to improve on what we've already done. We're going to hire more people. We're going to do this. Things are going to be better going forward. And we're also going to have less botting, and we're also going to do this. Like, could have been a little bit more than just like, yo, more of the same.
Released all of these updates for old school RuneScape in the last year, all of these different things. We released Sailing, we released Farlamore, we released Leagues, we released Yama, when all of these things were very buggy, questionable at best. We've added improvements to player support and anti-cheat when all of these are struggling as well. Like, none of these are very strong points as to increasing the price of membership. My question is, what are updates going to look like moving forward if this is like, okay, this is a peak year, never been better. Are we just going to get more of the same? What I want the most, and as a player who in the past has begged for more updates, is for them to slow down on updates. Genuinely. What I want more than anything is more quality updates. Updates that have had extensive QA, so they're not coming out buggy, unplayable.
I can't really relate with what he's saying, because I've gotten to play the fixed version of RuneScape. When I came in, like, whatever bugs were wrong with Yama, they were fixed by the time I played it. Whatever bugs were happening in Doom, they were fixed by the time I played it. So I haven't really gotten to, well, the Wildy POH was busted. That was the first one I got to see that, like, when they released it, I just couldn't even go into any of my rooms in my house. And that was for like 5 days. And I was super excited about getting the Wilderness House. And I'm just like, screw this thing that I worked for in DMM. I don't even want it now. So that was like the first bug that I've gotten to see in the game as a new player. But for the most part, I haven't gotten to relate to what he's saying, but I definitely feel what he's saying. Like, maybe we put out better, more polished content than just lots of content. And in general, I think players would be happier, you know, if they had waited for Sailing another 6 months or so and actually had some cool combat or something with it, or a Sailing boss that we could have done instead of just the baseline of where it was at. And I think that's what he's getting into here, which I agree with too. Just in general, less content that's better and more polished will always be better than just releasing something half-baked.
Killing hardcores on release, that kind of thing. Coming out in a very clean quality state. Both Yama and Doom came out in just a completely unacceptable state. Obviously, with every update, there's going to be some at least minor bugs, right? It's hard to catch everything, but you should not be getting into the game and be unable to go to the next floor, or booting into a contract that costs money that you bought from another player and then find out it's completely impossible to kill the boss doing said contract. Like, that kind of thing is just not acceptable. And to use those as things to justify the increase in membership is just ludicrous. Like, it's actually insane to me. I personally would have been totally happy if Doom and Yama both came out a year apart. If Yama came out and it was perfectly refined, that contract system that everybody hates, they thought about it, they ran some betas, they asked for feedback on stuff, found out it's not the way to go forward, changed how it works, and then added hard mode Yama in a completely different state, very clean, very polished, I'd be perfectly happy to wait a long time for Doom. Because that would cover me. Like, we have a perfect, beautiful, pristine addition to the game. Yeah, no, I'd be perfectly willing to wait a while for the next update. What it really feels like, though, is they're doing the same amount, just spread thin. Just spread very thin. Let's do all this different stuff. Let's jump over here and let's go do this. But every single update comes out in a very buggy state. When they released the roadmap, a lot of people were kind of bummed that leak.
World of Warcraft does not release unpolished content very much. When they release a raid, it might be overtuned, but they understand that they have a huge responsibility to correct it instantly for the race to world first, which is a mass portion of their viewership. And they have a team that's live updating the raid as they release it. So I think it's a little bit different to compare like WoW and RuneScape, but they fix it like almost on the spot during the race to world first, like the next day, if anything.
Leagues was even on the roadmap because it's just a temporary game mode. It's not adding something permanent to the game, right? As fun as leagues are, if this is a reason that they need to raise membership and it's like a huge pain point for them, hold off. Like, don't do them. We also had stuff like Deadman mode. Like, we have a bunch of temporary game modes going on. If these are things that require a ton more employees, a ton more funding, requires them to raise membership, hold on it. I think most players would agree on that. If that trade-off then means we get more high-quality updates, bug-free releases, and also more things like going back and fixing old content that doesn't work super well, like we saw with the summer sweep up, more stuff like that. Those were some of my favorite updates of the year. So like going back and fixing the old content that's like almost good, but needs a little bit of help, that lets them just completely revamp the game and make it so much higher quality and so much cleaner overall, like going back and doing those updates. Jagex should not be buckling down here and defending themselves for what they've already done, because what they've already done is trash. It's not up to quality. It's not up to par. What they should be doing is showing us what they're planning to do in the future. Where's that full player support roadmap? Like, what are they planning to offer with player support? Like, what are some things I can get help on? Because right now, the player support hasn't changed whatsoever. A lot of people say like, oh, only content creators get help from support. But even as a content creator, yes, we have more resources, right? But even us, like, I'm not going to get a hardcore back when Jagex's servers disconnect or something like that, right? Like, that's just not going to happen. When Oda has someone bug abuse and bounty hunter and kills hardcore, he's not getting that back either. Like, this just doesn't work like that. Like, we still have we deal with the same things that you guys do. Maybe we can actually get a response on stuff, but it still is not like good support even as a content creator. I've also just seen a lot more posts about people getting false banned and then it getting appealed. You could argue that's an improvement to support because maybe they never would have gotten unbanned in the past, but I've just seen a lot of people posting about how they've been false banned, like lately. That's just been a really common thing. Another like big thing that's a part of player support that I would love to see improved is status updates being put in a very obvious place. Anytime like the servers aren't working properly, like there's a new update or something like that, it's like you have to check like 5 different places to figure out what's going on. It could be Twitter support. It could be the news posts that you have to look at. It could be a random JMod typing something on Reddit. It could be a JMod typing something in the official like RuneScape Discord. Like it could be a million different places that you have to go look. None of this stuff is posted on all platforms, which it should be. Like if the servers are down for some reason, this should be like, put it in game, put it on Twitter, put it on Reddit, put it on everything. It should be everywhere. Like there should be no way to miss this kind of thing. Also, just like status updates on updates. Like I hate that it'll just be one line from a JMod in Discord. Like why is that not just put everywhere? It's very frustrating. It lends to a lot of hearsay, and we've had problems in the past with people photoshopping fake JMod lines, and it's completely believable because a lot of times JMods will just type one line in a Discord and that's the only thing you're going to see about it.
Guess what would help all of these issues you're talking about? More employees. It could, if they were quality quality control employees that were coming in to test new content and make sure that it comes out without a ton of issues, if that's what they were getting hired to do, right? So it just depends. And I don't know if Jagex in this post, at least I don't remember reading it in this post, them saying what they were going to do with the extra dollar, or if it was all part of a wider shift to make games even better. Okay, they did say here, enhancing core systems, improving support, ensuring continued delivery of the kind of updates player value most. I mean, that's vague, but it could be implied that maybe that's what they're going to be doing with the extra dollar. So you can't say that they're not saying it, I guess, but they kind of aren't. It's hard to say. Maybe the next update comes out, no monkey won't have anything to say about it, and it'll be awesome. So maybe this extra dollar is gonna go towards that.
So when someone pretends that
I'll be honest, I don't care about the extra dollar. I think that a lot of times in life people make a big deal over things. As long as the quality of the game goes up after this dollar, I need to see. Let's let it play out. As long as the quality of the game continues to go up, I'm happy paying the extra dollar. Now, if the quality of the game goes down after I pay more money, then I'll go post on Reddit with everybody else. So let's ride it out. Let's see what this dollar does going forward. Let's see if the company continues to improve.
Actuals are going to be good in the new update, and that's what Mod Ash said. It's somewhat believable because, you know, that's realistic. Like, maybe they did just type that in a Discord somewhere. But that's not how information should be dispersed at all. Like, it should be in-game, should be on Twitter, it should be on... Like, every single platform should be used at all times when it's important information. I'm going to just start wrapping the video up here. Basically, the previous roadmap they had for player support and, like...
You get it free from being a content creator? I pay for my other membership. And I would be paying for this one too. But we had a very generous person who just walked up to me and gave me 20 bonds. So this one got a membership for free from the community. So it was paid for though. Like Jagex got that money.
The quality of PVM updates, which is to say very little, coming out in a very buggy state.
I also won 20 bonds in a competition, Gillinor Games. So I won in a contest a year membership for my second account, and then I was given a year membership for this account. So, but all of that money, I believe Jagex got, unless Soup got the bonds from the company, then that was taken from them and then given back to them. So that's a weird one.
Just doesn't really justify the membership increase whatsoever. They've dumped a lot of projects, like they've removed HD plugin support. They got rid of Project Xanaris, which I was particularly excited for. That just got shut down. There's still no additional region support for places like Asia. They've mentioned that they were going to add it for Brazil, I think, but I think that still hasn't hit the game. And we also still have really big problems with real-world trade and botting. So basically, at the end of the day, what's happened is player support got replaced with an AI chatbot, and PVM updates quality has remained the same as ever, which is to say fairly buggy. Just from the like defense of like updates and that, I'm not sold on the future of the game. I'm really not. I'm assuming other players feel the same, where it's just like they feel...
Let me tell you, the future of this game looks a lot better than World of Warcraft's. I'll just tell you that.
Well, this is like extremely premium and worthy of a price hike. And I just don't feel like we're seeing any of that value whatsoever. All right, should we all get like up in arms and all of us cancel our memberships all at once? I'm not going to personally. If you feel that this has crossed a line for you and you're canceling your membership, more power to you. Like totally fair. I get where you're coming from. What I want to see more of is holding Jagex accountable in the future. Things like buggy update releases, a complete lack of player support, and also just like what the plans are for the future. What are we going to do with the resources from canceling those products or from those projects, like things like Project Xanaris? Where are the devs that were working on that going to? What are people working on? What are they doing? More transparency would be really, really nice. I've mentioned a lot of updates.
There's not a lot of transparency in these companies about like what they're doing and working on, where the players' money is going. That's never really been a thing. It could be something that Jagex starts doing. They tend to lead the way and like doing things that other companies don't do. I mean, that could be cool, but they're not required to do that. That's for sure. I would love to know though.
It's that I feel like we're lacking in quality.
We get the roadmap.
I'm not targeting any mod that worked on those updates specifically. Like, I feel like they need more support, if anything. They need more people working with them, more people working on QA and that kind of thing, so they can do the work that they're doing better. That's the way I feel about it. And this blog as well, you can tell this is just coming straight from the shareholders. Like, that's who I'm pointing at here, not anyone on the dev team. The devs have exact deadlines they have to hit. They have to push content out. It's more so about the planning around the devs that's like making things hard for them, and less so like the devs' quality of their work. I want them to be helped more, have more teams supporting them in making the updates higher quality. That's what I'm looking for. And Jagex should definitely not be guilt tripping us over subpar updates and then giving us a price hike on membership. It's just ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. And that's it for the video. I'd love to see some discussion about this in the comments. Let me know what you think about my idea for the extra character slot.
Yeah, No Monkey was cooking a bit with this with this post. I think definitely being a little bit critical. I think that the Varlamore update was incredible to the game. I mean, I got to play in a finished state, so I'm coming from a totally different perspective than he was, where he was mainly just harping on when they released it, it wasn't polished. I think he would like to see more polished updates in the future. That was kind of the TLDR, and them being a little bit too vague in the post, saying, you know, this dollar is going to go towards, you know, making the game better and continued updates like we've already done, when he seems to have a little bit of an issue with the updates and in the state that they released. So if they had said, like, you know, with this dollar, this is what it's going to do, and it specifically be a little bit more specific and be transparent about what they're going to be working on going forward, I think that No Monkey probably would have been a bit happier with that. And in general, that's probably what everybody would have liked to see. But these type of corporate posts are always like that. But anyways, guys, there's one option for you now. It is 12 months or 1 month, and it is going to cost you more money to play RuneScape unless you're grandfathered in. So hopefully that doesn't affect too many of us. I think that everybody that watches the stream is probably not a new player, but if you have like a reoccurring subscription, hopefully you're grandfathered in on that. Otherwise, good boys, we're going to have to eat one less item off the dollar menu every month. That's just what it is. Is the dollar menu still $1, or does that even exist anymore at McDonald's, the dollar menu? That's probably inflated at this point. I haven't been to McDonald's in years. No, it doesn't. Not for a long time. Who's going to tell him? What do you mean there's no dollar menu? It's the $4 menu now. They call them value meals. Dang it, man. First McDonald's and now Jagex? I hate getting older. The prices are going up, but I'm making the same amount. What the heck? Guys, we're going to need some more Twitch Prime so I can pay the membership when my bonds run out. Everybody, make sure you check your Twitch Primes and give them to your streamer so they can afford it. Goodness gracious.